Hi team, this is Anna, makeup teacher and educator and creator specifically for people with hooded eyes, and today we're going to be talking about eyeshadow palettes. Of course, this is my passion, this is my main creative outlet, this is my favorite thing in the entire world. This is my largest collection of all of the makeup. I have that entire thing filled with eyeshadow palettes and I absolutely adore eyeshadow palettes. And so here's our agenda for today. 10 eyeshadow palettes for Valentine's Day. So I went through my collection and I picked out 10 eyeshadow palettes that I feel like inspire me for Valentine's Day. I feel like they're just, pink, or they have a romantic color story. Not all of them are pink though. Not all of them are pink. And these are all different budgets, from luxury to drugstore, because I love all kinds of eyeshadow palettes. And obviously I created this look with one of these palettes and I'm going to show you how I created that as well. So let's dive right in. These are in no specific order whatsoever. These are just the palettes I picked out and I'm going to be talking about them, not in any specific order, but let's talk about them. And this is your sign to go through your eyeshadow collection, pick out some older palettes and have fun with them, because we have so many new products coming out all of the time that we neglect our old and trusted and favorite palettes. Do not do that. This is your sign to go pick out an old eyeshadow palette and do a look. Speaking of old eyeshadow palettes, we're gonna start with an old one, but this is perfect for Valentine's, okay? There is never going to be a February where I don't wear this eyeshadow palette. This is Natasha Denona Love Eyeshadow Palette. This was her second eyeshadow palette that came out in this format, in the meaty format, meaning that it is a little bit more affordable than her previous 120 something or 200 and blah 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 dollar eyeshadow palettes. This one retailed for 65 when it came out in 2020, yeah, but now 69. Inflation, very sad, very bad, but I adore this color story. This is one of the most underrated Natasha Denona palettes in my humble opinion. I love how versatile this palette is. These shades are not too harsh or pink, so you could create a more soft look, but then also you have really crazy pinks and reds and burgundies, and guess what, purples as well, and silvers and golds. This is why I love this palette so much. It is so versatile, so gorgeous. To anybody who enjoys pink, red, and purple colors, this would be something to look into, especially because this is an old palette. A lot of the times it goes on sale, or you could buy 2 for 1. This is actually how I purchased it. I got this one and Sunset eyeshadow palette, which is also kind of pinky reddish, orangey tones. I bought them and I paid $65 for 2 palettes, which is just a steal when it comes to Natasha Denona. You knew I would pick out one or more, wink wink, Natasha Denona palettes for this category because she loves her pinks. I love my pinks, and this palette holds a really special place in my heart because it was the first Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette I purchased, and it's just so beautiful. It's just so versatile. The quality is top of the top, best of the best. Obviously right now her palettes are a little bit better quality when it comes to shimmers. They're way more impactful, but this is still very nice and somehow, I don't know, somehow wearable. I don't know how she does it, but highly recommend this guy if you're on the market for reds or pinks. Number 2, let's spice it up with a little bit of affordable palettes. This is Milani, one of their gilded minis, and this is a number 140, the Wine Down. First of all, what a name. I absolutely love the name. Second of all, look at this color story. So obviously this is way more muted than the previous palette you saw. This is more of a pink, mauvey, cool tone color story. I created one of the most beautiful eyeshadow looks with this palette last year for Valentine's, and I just adore how gorgeous these palettes perform for what the price point is. I am not sure what it is. I guess it's $19.99. Something like that, maybe a little bit less, which would be lovely, but I probably will put it somewhere on the screen here. But how beautiful this eyeshadow palette is. Come on, you have your deep matte, you have your light matte, you have your shimmers, you have your pinks. It just creates the most beautiful blend. Very muted, therefore very wearable, and it could be your everyday look. If you just do this shade in the crease, this one on the lid, this one in the inner corner, or it could be a beautiful smoky with this all over the lid, or it could just be a beautiful nighttime look. Obviously, you couldn't create a look I'm wearing right now with this vibrant pink, with this palette, but if you're more into neutrals, however, you want to dip your toes into pinks and purples, this is the kind of palette I would recommend, especially if you're looking for something on a budget. Milani eyeshadow palettes are best, top quality, top notch. I will never ever not recommend Milani eyeshadow palettes. They are amazing, and yeah, this palette is just stunning. Number 3, we have to address the elephant in the room. The elephant being my Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette collection. So I have a lot of her motherships right there. Well, not a lot, 5. And obviously there's a ton of pink motherships, but I always pull those out for any occasion, and I decided not to do it this time. I decided to pull out a palette that she released last Valentine's collection. What did I just say? A palette she released last year for Valentine's Day. So this was her The Love collection. And this was the only eyeshadow palette I picked up after it went on sale, because she always has crazy sales, and that's when I recommend picking up her eyeshadow. This is Mothership Iconic Infatuation. So this is another one of those muted tones. As you can see, this one is a little bit more warm than the previous one, however it's still cool tones, and this is more on the luxury side. Obviously, this is what I recommend for you if you prefer neutrals but you wanna something more pinky, something more cool toned, and you're looking for a luxury. This is what I would recommend. It's a great travel palette. It doesn't weigh anything. It's just easy to pack. It's not one of the motherships where you're terrified of it breaking and it's just so bulky. This is, I love traveling with this. It creates a beautiful look that is super easy to achieve. You got 3 shimmers, you got 3 mattes, super easy. None of the crazy, sparkly, amazing, majestic shimmer formula, but nonetheless, this does the job. This is going to create your beautiful look. And honestly, this palette is the one that every time I open it, I just want to put it on my eyes. I don't know what it is. I just want to put it on my eyes. I'm going away the day after tomorrow for the weekend. I'm packing this. I'm packing this with me. Number 4. I'm tired of talking about neutrals. Let's spice it up a little bit. So this one is by the brand called Glamlight. I actually adore their brand, and I own 2 or 3 eyeshadow palettes from them. I love supporting them. I love the owner. They're so creative. They're so fun. They do a lot of collabs. And so this is their collab with Barbie, which, mind you, came out way before the Barbie movie. They were way ahead of their time. They were, you know what I mean, ahead of the curve. That's what I mean. Non-native speaker here, please don't shoot me. Anyways, this is the color story. Okay, I hear you. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. You got the blues, you got the purples, you got the mustardy shades, and also you got these hot pinks. So if you're looking for some colors like my dress here, if you want to look like that, if you want these crazy pinks, these crazy purples, but also absolutely gorgeous, impactful shimmers, go for this palette. It's gorgeous. One thing I want to mention though, shadows like this that are more like pressed pigments, they are very, very pigmented, and there's a lot of pigment in the shadow. Therefore, it might stain you. So when I created looks with these purples and pinks, the day after I did that, I had some like stains on my eye, which is not a big deal because it's just gonna go away in 48 hours, but I just wanted to mention that, just to have that out there. All right, let's swatch some shimmers from this one, shall we? Because it's just too fun, okay? We're gonna do 4 shimmers. Ooh, I love Glamlight formula. Their mattes are amazing. Their shimmers, as you can see, super impactful. A lot of these are multi-chromes, dual chromes, all of that deliciousness, and nobody does it like Glamlight. First of all, this is also like not very expensive, and they have sales a lot. Second of all, how fun. Let's just have more fun in 2024. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, this is the newest palette out of all of these in my collection. However, it's not the newest palette that came out. Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2. To be completely honest with you, it is way less pink than I thought it is. Or maybe Maybe it's just to me, maybe it's the promo pictures, but this doesn't look pink to me. However, it still is a romantic color story and I adore the quality on this. Granted, I did only use it once. I need to use this more, especially these creamy, beautiful, gorgeous mattes and these shimmers with the highest quality ever. I am obsessed with this palette. It is gorgeous. When you use it, you're like, oh my God, am I in heaven? Is this what heaven feels like? Because yes, it is. It is amazing. I have no desire, however, to purchase their neutral palettes because I'm not on the market for another brown eyeshadow palette, but this one caught my eye and I finally pulled the trigger and I got this one. Let's swatch some of the shimmers because you wouldn't know, nobody talks about it, but this palette has one of the best duochromes ever existed. So I'm talking about this one here, probably can't really see because I have too much lighting going on here, but this is the most gorgeous gold to pink duochrome. And look at these shimmers. Don't they look just amazing? So this palette somehow sometimes leans warm if you use any of these warmer tones, or cool toned and pink if you use these tones. So I love how versatile it is. And of course, the light mattes, the deep mattes, so good. Never really used these cream shades, by the way. I really do want to do a smoky eye with this palette. Let me know if you're interested in a tutorial like that, maybe like a short form tutorial, smoky eye with this palette. It's gonna be yummy. It's gonna be yummy. Nonetheless, a really good palette if you're looking for something like that. If you're looking for luxury, if you love Patrick Ta, I love supporting Patrick Ta. I love their products. And yeah, this was number 5. Let's get back from the clouds, get back on our planet Earth and talk about something more affordable, okay? Moira. I will never ever have my favorite blah 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 palettes and not talk about Moira. Quote me on this. I don't know. Remember this. Remember this. Never. Moira is one of my, oh, that wasn't the correct way. Moira Beauty is one of my favorite brands when it comes to literally anything. I absolutely adore everything they do, especially for the price point. This quality is not drugstore quality. This quality is high and 11 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10 quality, both mattes and shimmers. But at the same time, look at this color story. You could go completely neutral. You could just do browns, or you could add a hint of purple or pink, or you could do a deep brown smoky eye, or you could do a neutral everyday look or a gold makeup look. How versatile is this little guy? Just take a look right there. Absolutely beautiful. I am in awe of this palette. I do not use it enough. I need to use it way more. I'm gonna swatch some shimmers for you guys because they are so creamy. They are so yummy. And this costs like $20. I'm not really sure, but I think like $20. Isn't that absolutely insane? So if you haven't tried out Moira Cosmetics or Moira Beauty eyeshadows ever, I would recommend to start with something like this because they have a lot of color stories that are out there. They have neons, they have pastels, they have colorful. They are very creative with their color stories, which is a thing I love about them. But if you were to begin dipping your toes into this brand, I would recommend a palette like this. This is called I'm Falling For You, and they have another one from this collection. This was a Valentine's collection, if I'm not mistaken, with more browns, but also greens. And that one was called A Moment With You. That one is another fave of mine. Highly, highly recommend this. Next one, and remember, this is not rankings. These are all on the same level for me. These are just 10 palettes that I picked out from my collection to share with you today that I think are perfect for Valentine's. So I couldn't do this video without mentioning any palette by Huda Beauty. She does pinks really gorgeously, really uniquely. Is that a word? She does it with style. She does it differently than other people. I don't know how to describe this, but this palette is called Rose Quartz. And this is, to this day, one of the biggest surprises I had in my life, because when I saw a picture of this palette, I was like, this is boring. This is another pink palette. This is another cool tone palette, whatever. But when I bought it, I realized how wrong I was. This is so unique. Not only it is obviously the best of the best quality, the mattes are super creamy, super blendable. They blend themselves. The color curation is out of this world. We have deep tones, we have cool tones, we have light tones, we have gray tones, we have pinks, we have warmer browns. Gorgeous. But the shimmers are like nothing I've seen before. They are insane. They're so creamy. They're so, oh my goodness. I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, how come I haven't used this in a while? Look at that. They are ethereal. Like, this is a palette that I would call ethereal. It's very, very beautiful. It is stunning. You can create a neutral look with it, but also you could create a crazy pink look with it, or blue, because this shimmer, let me tell you, it is so shifty. It is so beautiful. It gives you blue, pink, that kind of really gorgeous duochrome vibe. I am in love with this palette, and I just wish we used it more. I just wish I used it more. I just wish I had more time to use all of these palettes on a daily basis. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyways, Huda Beauty Rose Quartz. I also believe that there's a lot of sales on her website all of the time, so check it out. Maybe you could snag this baby for a less dollars, but yeah, highly recommend this one. Okay, we're gonna do one more affordable palette, and it's not a pink palette. I don't know, my hand just reached into this drawer and I just grabbed this palette because it gave me all of the Valentine's vibes, and you will see what I'm talking about. So this is by Colourpop, and this palette is not a box of chocolate palette, but it kind of looks like a box of chocolate, and then you open it up and all of these gorgeous brown tones just look like chocolate, and it just looks so yummy, and it's just as good as it looks on the eyes. I adore this palette. I only used it a handful of times, but you got everything you need here if you're a neutral lover, and the price point is great. As we all know, Colourpop has great eyeshadow quality. Their shimmers are super amazing, mattes are super blendable, and this is just everything you need in a neutral palette. That's why I wanted to put it in this video, even though it's not pink. Sometimes you just want to wear a smoky, a brown smoky, or just a beautiful, beautiful bronzy shimmer all over the lid for Valentine's, and you're allowed to. I mean, you're allowed to wear blue for Valentine's if you want to. Also, this is just such a good option for anyone who loves neutrals and browns. This is a really, really good eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love the quality on this, and the price point, of course. I have two more eyeshadow palettes to look at and to talk about today, and these are super, super exciting to me. So we're gonna start with the Be Perfect Cosmetics Carnival The Antidote palette. So this is a palette in collaboration with Stacey Maria Mue, who's one of the most talented makeup artists in the entire world. She is so gorgeous, so talented, and I love all of her Carnival eyeshadow palettes. I own two, and this is the first one I bought from them. And this is the one that she loves color. All of her Carnival palettes are like rainbow colored. And this is the only one kind of more neutral. I know if you look at this, it's not really neutral, but for people who love color, this is neutral. This is what neutral looks like to me, I know. So obviously this palette feels more like fall palette to me, and I always recommend it during September, October. However, this palette also has a really romantic color story. That is why I would love to just recommend it in this video, because if you look at it, this whole center section has pinks and cool tone browns and just beautiful mauves, and it could create the most gorgeous Valentine's look. And if you wanted some more fun, you can add a little bit of red to this. But anyways, just this like middle section right here is speaking to me, and I absolutely love this palette. It's ginormous, so it's not really convenient for traveling. I wish it were smaller so I could take you traveling with me, but at the same time I don't want it to be smaller because I want all the colors to be in here. This palette also has greens, which we're not talking about greens today, but if you like mossy greens or just good greens, this is your sign. Anyways, I'm gonna swatch some shimmers because I was quite surprised with the shimmers in this palette. I was not expecting such good shimmers. They are not going to be glittery, but they're going to be very impactful metallics. That's what they're going to be. This is my favorite shade. It's kind of taupey, and it's so gorgeous, so stunning. Absolutely love this palette. Always use it during the fall, but might pull it out for Valentine's this year. We're here with the last eyeshadow palette for Valentine's Day today, and it's the one that I'm wearing on my eyes. It is beautiful, gorgeous. As you can see, it's pink. It's a little bit pink, okay? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of pink for Valentine's Day, but this is the Natasha Denona Love Face Palette. This is a palette she came out with last year for Valentine's, and this palette has had a lot of controversy around it because not a lot of people enjoyed this color story, and not a lot of people enjoyed this cool toned bubblegummy blush. I am the person who enjoyed everything. I'm easy to please. not really, but I did enjoy this palette, and I absolutely love these 5 shadows because you could really do a lot with it, even though it doesn't look like that. But you could do a neutral look just using this shade and this shimmer. You could do a pink look like I did today using these, or you could deepen everything up with a purple. Also, I always mention that this is the first eyeshadow palette where Natasha Denona came out with her super foiled highly shine formula, shimmer formula, which is this shade called Affinity. And when I met Natasha Denona, yes, I will talk about it every time I hold this palette in my hands. She signed it, first of all, and second of all, I was wearing this shade and she was like, your eyeshadow looks really beautiful. I'm like, Natasha, it's Affinity. It's Affinity. You did that. That was a fun moment. This is how I created this look. I started out with an eyeshadow primer, and then I used a little bit of pink eye base just because I wanted more pink. And then I used this shade Esme on the outer corner, blended it out with a little bit of Juliet. And after that, I did not actually use the Natasha Denona palette. I just layered out some liquid shimmers and pressed shimmers and glitters that I had because I wanted this kind of ethereal, beautiful look. Then I added some rhinestones, wing liner, mascara, and a lash, and I was done. This is how I got this beautiful look. Honestly, obsessed, in love. I'm filming my 7th video today just because I really like this look. It was super easy to create, to be honest with you. Hope you enjoyed this. All right, team, these are all of the 10 eyeshadow palettes in my collection that I recommend for Valentine's and that I may or may not be using on Valentine's Day and around those times. So the first half of February, I will just be doing pink eyeshadow looks and maybe a little bit of brown. But anyways, this is today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you like wearing pinks? Do you only wear pinks for Valentine's? Do you never wear pinks? What do you think about this eyeshadow palette collection? Which one is your favorite? Which one do you not like? Which one are you thinking about picking up? As always, I'm gonna link everything in this description below, all of the palettes that I mentioned today, everything that I'm wearing on my face, as well as jewelry and clothes and all of that. Leave me any questions you have about my content down below. I always love chatting with you, especially because YouTube is just such a loving community. I don't know why, but it is just such a loving, welcoming, and beautiful community. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm always so hyped to create content on YouTube. And I love you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.